I've been sick recently, and my first planned video back was a health update, but I pushed that to next week. I felt really uncomfortable going back to normal without saying something first. This video will ruffle feathers. I typically avoid being too harsh or unapologetic when giving advice, even and especially on sensitive subjects. I know what it feels like to be uninformed or unsure and scared of screwing up. Today's video is about deciding whether or not to speak about politics on a professional platform for fear of alienating customers. It's less geared towards retail or service workers who don't really have an option to share their beliefs in the workplace. Like most of my videos, this video is geared towards writers, but I feel like this advice applies to a lot of creative and freelance careers. Writers are in an incredible position to make a living on the weight of our words. If you are lucky enough, someone might tattoo your words on their body or teach your publications in their classroom or live their life guided by a motto you once wrote on a napkin in a fit of inspiration. Your words matter. They are loved. They are respected. They have worth, not just in terms of money. If you're afraid to share them, you need to examine why. I'd like to talk about 4 words that crawl inside me every day. I never say them out loud, but they guide my every decision. These words are, can I trust you? Every time I step outside of my house, these words choose the path I take to jog. They suggest I ask my brother to walk to the corner store with me. They make quick interactions with strangers overwhelming. Because they are a part of a conversation I'm too terrified to ever start myself, so it usually begins and ends inside me. I can't ever start the conversation because it doesn't begin with the words, can I trust you? It begins with, did you vote for him? Or, are we on the same side? Which for me is the same thing. I wake up every day knowing the most powerful person in the world does not see or care about my humanity. He thinks people chanting that my life matters are the aggressors against white supremacists and neo-Nazis. He thinks calling out the removal of statues commemorating leaders of a movement that was willing to rip this country apart over the right to own people as more important than condemning the murder of a protester. I don't have the energy or motivation left to coddle or sympathize with not speaking out. Not anymore. I watched a documentary of the events in Charlottesville last weekend, and the clip that resonated with me most was of a woman being helped to the sidewalk by 2 friends, who bends over at the waist and lets out a guttural scream. Oh my God! Oh my God, we got hit by a car! It haunts me because I recognize that scream. It's the same one I bit down after watching videos of torch-wielding Nazis chanting, "You will not replace us. Jews will not replace us," as they surrounded a church. After discovering over 20 people were mowed down by a car trying to counter-protest those very same people. After realizing that a rally just like the one in Charlottesville was scheduled here in Seattle the very next day, less than an hour from where I live. I know that scream. That scream rips at you. It tears you apart from the inside out until you can't keep it in anymore. It's hopelessness. It's devastation. It's exhaustion. This past week, as I've searched for something to do or some way to help, as I've tried to find joy or solace in work, to take my mind off it, anything, I felt that scream build up inside me. It finally broke me at the 6th tweet I saw from someone who had tweeted all week as if nothing was happening. I'd seen people apologize for sharing promotional news or cover reveals. I'd seen authors pepper in retweets about how to donate or otherwise help among their typical tweets. And I'd even seen people using trivial topics like puppies or food to directly help the angst around this tragedy. The guttural scream got me not after being hit by a car, but after seeing someone walk past a metaphorical car crash and say nothing. Stepping back to those words I'm afraid to say in public that guide my everyday decisions. Can I trust you? It's not just outside that I feel that fear. It's hard to explain how it feels to scroll someone's social media for the most casual political comment, just to know where they stand. It's hard to explain the relief finding something like that can give. But it's not enough to just say something once in a blue moon. This past weekend, people marched for ethnic cleansing. They did the Hitler salute. They said they expected and were looking forward to purging this country of the non-white filth plaguing America. My existence is political. My existence alienates people. I don't and will never have the luxury of worrying about whether speaking out will cost me potential readers or viewers. If your worry right now is if speaking out will cost you readers, you need to examine that. Speaking out may lose you conservative customers. It may make you less neutral, but I'm going to be blunt here. People can't buy your book if they're sick because of loss of health care. People can't buy your book if they lose their job because it's illegal to discriminate against them. And people can't buy your book if they are dead because they were killed by bigots, bad police officers, or literal Nazis. You need to make a choice. Which type of customer are you willing to lose? Because you're already making a choice. Staying silent is a choice. I don't have to die for you to lose me as a customer. A choice I do have is whose books to buy and support myself, who to boost and share on my own platform. I will not spend my money in support of someone who stays silent while the KKK calls for a race war. I will not boost the promotional efforts of someone who is more worried about their paycheck than people dying in the streets. Privately agreeing is not enough. If the only time you ever feel comfortable saying something is in a private message, you are helping nothing but your own guilt. So the question asked today, is it okay to stay silent on political topics if doing so may damage your readership or freelance career? The answer is no. It is not okay, and I'm not going to give you any excuse otherwise. You don't have to become a walking protest sign. You don't even have to speak up about everything. But if you are only tweeting about yourself or your books when the nation is in the middle of a national disgrace, a tragedy, a terrorist attack, if you can't manage a single comment, if you are consistently silent while others are in mourning, you have no moral high ground. You are complicit. And I'm done pretending it's okay to only be an ally behind closed doors. I have to fit writing, publishing these YouTube videos, alongside fighting for my life, for rights I already had, every day. If you don't have room to stand up for others publicly, I don't have the time or patience to stand up for you. I understand you just want to focus on happy things. You may even write happy, lighthearted stories, things you hope people find joy or solace in during this stressful time. You may be afraid of screwing up or saying the wrong thing. You don't want to add to the negative energy. You just want to be nice. There's a quote about nice people during the Holocaust. The quote is, "Nice people made the best Nazis." It's from an article a woman wrote after the election about her mother who grew up in Nazi Germany. Her mother said that when things got ugly, the people that she lived alongside as a child chose not to focus on politics, but instead happier things. They were lovely, kind people who turned their heads as their neighbors were dragged away. And there's a similar quote from Martin Luther King from his Birmingham jail letter in which he said that the biggest obstacle to black freedom is not the KKK, but instead the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice, who says they agree with intentions but not actions, who tells activists to wait for a more convenient time. There has never been a time where staying silent was the best solution to oppression. There never will be. But there are moments, and we are living in one right now, where opposition isn't just preferred, but necessary to stop hideous evil. You can say something now, or you can say never again in 30 years, but I can't promise you that you'll have an audience left to listen. Good luck with your career. I hope it's worth it. I'll be back to my regular videos really soon. Thank you so much for your patience while I've been gone. I can't wait to share good and happy news with you guys. Thank you. I'll see you soon.